Hello, welcome to Laura's Painted Minis. I am Laura. And we got this cool Cobra from Next Level Minis. I think it was from their second Kickstarter. And in case you can't tell, I am doing kind of the coloring of the Aladdin animated. Today I'm going to work on the red parts. You can see I've already got the sort of black part of him pretty well done. At least for now. There will be more when we get to the belly that I'll do black. You can kind of see a little bit that I blocked in already, just playing around with how I was gonna kind of have everything laid out. So I'm using oxide red, a little bit of brown liner, and then building up to the phoenix red, oxide red, and then I'm using a little bit of the creamy ivory. I used that mixed in with the brown liner to do the highlighting of the black scales. Just trying to get these at least different enough. It's fine if they're close. In some ways it makes it easier to blend. I just want to and this is where I have the brown liner mixed in. Just one drop in with like about 4 drops of oxide red. Okay. See how this is compared to what I had done, because I don't really remember what I had actually done as far as a mix. I think this is probably a little lighter, so I will just try not to go too far down. I'm going to go down further than what I have the black highlights, because with black you need to have it actually being mostly black. And this is actually not black, it's actually a brown liner. So if you have really good eyes and you're like, that looks kind of brown, you're correct. You're not wrong. This is actually brown liner, my black. But since I don't have any actual black on the mini, black paint, I should say, because I mean the base is black. That's fine because of that, since it's the darkest thing and there's no other actual black, it is going to give the effect of it looking black. Hi there, Tinker. Thank you. And hello also to Immortal Polar Bear King. That's a cool name. Ah, cool. I only ended up backing their first two Kickstarters. So I think that might have been their third one, was they did like encounters based. Polar it is. Yeah, there's definitely enough sculpted in texture you could just do very quick speed paint. I do not use speed paints. So I'm doing what is called stippling and layering up. So I'm loosely using the sculpted texture. I would say that as far as sculpted scales goes, I definitely like the Dungeons and Lasers. I used it as a basilisk. I think they called it like a king serpent. But they were very large scales, so it made it kind of a lot more fun. And easier too. Like they were actually more like these scales all over. Yeah, they work together pretty well. I am curious about what Next Level Miniatures is up to. I know I keep seeing ads for their upcoming campaign. Still haven't seen an actual date for when that starts, but it's for dice, so it's kind of interesting. Then I saw like a little another been an Instagram post of theirs or Facebook about like coming soon, and it showed what seemed to be like a battle map in dry erase. So that's interesting to me. Kind of makes me wonder if they're like trying to just eventually have all sorts of DMing type products. I don't pay super close attention though to their stuff. Yeah, I noticed that. I I wasn't really in need of like really any of the miniatures though, because I did like a lot of that like typical starting, I guess, monsters, which they already had some of each of those monsters, I think. If I remember the different campaigns they did or had in that. They already had some sets in the previous two Kickstarters, so I wasn't very excited with the third Kickstarter. Yeah, I agree. They are very nice models. And they have interesting poses and such for their sculpts. It's not just really boring, I guess. I don't know. I think they were smart going the way of Silecast, because that does allow for getting some better quality detail. They had some problems to begin with, because the very first Kickstarter was when they actually got the machines. So that there were some delays with that one, but they were also just starting up too. Yeah. It made me read up a bunch on just how miniatures are measured and such. And there's multiple ways to technically measure a miniature that will affect how big it then looks based on the scale you're using. They're using a true 28mm scale. They never said this outright, but I think that they were using the measurement of going from the base to the very top of the mini, so whatever the top is. But they then, after that, they addressed that somehow. They didn't give details on what they did, but they now kind of match up with pretty much what is expected. Of course, you get people then who are like, I don't like how big these things are getting, so. So I have seen those comments online, not necessarily with Next Level Miniatures, but just on other. Yeah. This will eat 5 of the first. Yeah. I guess I just completely forgot to do the any markings down here. It's in shadow anyway, so it's not the worst thing in the world to have forgotten. Good enough. Yeah, I'm just doing the one because I'm going to use it in one shot as an option for a druid to wild shape. Yeah, I'll be doing a few one shots next month. Yeah. Well, heroes can wild shape into scary looking things if they want. I like to give when I do one shots, I like to give my players some fun different things instead of just like, oh, you can turn into a bear. Just like every other druid at your level. So I'm gonna do him. Then I got these other two that I'll paint up. So homebrewing is some stats for a young saber-toothed tiger. And then a dire wolf. So some fun different things. And those other two were Reaper miniatures. So they're kind of basically the three companies that I kind of keep an eye on for their Kickstarters. Dungeons and Lasers, Reaper, and then Next Level Miniatures. I probably won't end up doing the dice Kickstarter. They sound interesting enough, and they look cool, at least the renderings. But I'm gonna have to kind of be choosy this year if I do any Kickstarters, and Dungeons and Lasers have one coming up as well. And it's gonna have a big, very big, like size of a cat ship, playable ship. So I am more interested in that for sure than dice. We'll see how much that costs just to pledge enough to get the ship though, because I mean, it still might not be something that we can afford. Yep, yeah. I'll be waiting for my caves. Did you back that then too? Yeah, I didn't do the highest pledge user. I just went with like an unpainted version of like 2 different options, I think was what it was. Then I think you had like a few different sub options or something like that. I forget. I I'll be starting a campaign in April, so I could. I do have it so that dwarves type dwarf slash halfling types in my world live in underground caverns mostly. So it depends on the players if we actually ever go there. I do run one shots couple times a year now, because my church, we do like a little weekend, and we're just starting to do a 1 day event of just one shots, which is what I'll be doing next month. Those are those one shots. So I'll definitely find ways to figure out how to use them. That's especially why I like Dungeons and Lasers, and how I got into them was their scatter terrain. Just looks so good. And it's fun to paint too. definitely recommend just seeing if you can try and do one-shots first. Doing multiple one-shots, I feel like it helped me kind of get a handle on just like what I like and don't like, and like what my style of DMing is. It also helps too in just getting an understanding of building encounters and adventures and stuff. And try out a couple pre-made, pre-written ones. Yeah, I've heard that a lot of people do use ChatGPT. They had to choose letters that are really hard to say right after each other. There's some really good YouTubes too of just how to GM. There's Guy Scalanders. Did a whole channel called How to Be a Great GM or How to GM. He just put out a video saying that he will no longer be making any new stuff. It's covered pretty much everything he wanted to, and I guess YouTube as headquarters there over in the UK has told him that they're not gonna feature his content anymore. Because it's old news in their minds. But you can still go see it. And then Sly Flourish. Yep. I have a cat. Well, a lot of times she likes to actually be in my office chair that is behind me instead of sharing her cuteness with the world. Yeah, we have a second cat as well. The cat that's here, they're both females that we have. This one's Greta. And we didn't name either one of them. We got them both at a shelter. We got Greta when she was 7 weeks old. She's now 3-ish years old. And the other cat is, gosh, probably about 8 years old now. The other one is all gray with just some very faint stripes on her tail. And we got them separately. They aren't related or anything. The reason we got Greta was actually because our previous cat, we had to put her down. She had found out she had congestive heart failure, which there's nothing you can do about that. Now she's back to sleep. And we decided we were not ready to be a one cat family. So we went looking at the various shelters. That's a bummer. Hey there, Big Harry. Thanks for joining, Tinker. Okay. Feel like I need a much brighter red highlight to match the shininess that I have for the black scales. Okay. We'll try this one out, and I did do one step further up, so if this doesn't seem to do the job, then I will bring in that other highlight. I think I need to thin that down a little bit. Getting a little too blobby, I guess. And I use the Osirian sand mixed with the Phoenix red. Trying to kind of match it along the same line as the other scales that I've already highlighted. I think that's definitely helping. I think I will continue with this, and I think I will go ahead and just bring that other one in as well. Here's those colors. If you're curious, this is what I'm using right now. That's the one that I said that I had already ended up mixing. Yeah, sorry, no links. Only stuff that I've approved. Okay, I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. First time, it's kind of my first time doing an actual pattern on snake as opposed to doing something simpler. Let's see, I have a little bit of time. I can try and finish his eyes. Try and just get that kind of like that thin serpent line type eye. That's what I'm going to try and do. At first I was thinking I would do it so that it's kind of a red slit in the eye, but I decided as I was painting it today that I want to go with what I did, where I've got it pretty much filled in with red, and then I'll do my black, which is actually brown liner. There you go. Now you guys can kind of see it. And then get out my pure white to try and do that little catch light that's in eyes. If I really, really wanted to make the scales look super duper shiny, that's what I would need, is to take it up to a pure white. But I kind of like them being a bit more subdued, shiny. Especially since the colors itself are not very bright. Okay, let's see. looks pretty good. I'll test. Make sure I don't end up getting a blob. And there we go, we got eyes. I'll probably stop there today. It's pretty much about time, and it's a good stopping point. So scales are already pretty much done. Zoom out a little bit. We got some eyes painted. They're a little hard to see from far away, or at the very least, very hard for the camera to be focused on. So I just have basically the belly left, and I'm going to do that kind of beige-ish. I'll do, technically I think I had brought in Oxide Brown and I was playing around a lot with different mixes for figuring out the different colors exactly. But I have settled on using these two colors for the belly. Those to focus. There we go. So again, creamy ivory. That's been used everywhere in highlights. And then the highlights for the black mixed in and for the highlights of the red. It's also what I don't know what this is technically called on a snake, but that's also actually a creamy ivory. So yeah. And then we'll bring in the rich leather so that this looks a bit more beige-ish, brown sorts. And then we'll just be figuring out the mouth. So we'll see if I am still working on this next week. There's not a ton left to do actually already, even though I just started it yesterday, I think. Showed these earlier, but these are kind of basically what will be next on the docket as far as painting miniatures just for myself. So if I get done with the snake, it'll probably be one of these. So this is like a saber-tooth, tiger type, and then this is a dire wolf. And then Monday, next stream, we'll be working back on this guy. And I think I'd be tempted to do the bandages because I'll do the same color of the bandages or wraps or whatever you want to call them for like here with stitching, and there's a rope here. But the fact that over here on the staff, it goes over the staff. I think I will do the staff next because that way I won't mess up the paint job over here. Won't have to worry about messing it up because it's when something is like inset like it is on this, it's kind of hard to tell. You can kind of see it right there that the staff would be a little bit inset. It's also very small, it makes it a lot easier to end up messing up the areas around it. So the easiest thing to do is just to paint that first and then paint these, and then it won't matter. You'll be painting over that anyway. So yeah, cool. So that is what we got done today and what we'll be working on next week. So hope you have a good weekend. It's gonna be eventually very cold where I'm at. So hopefully you are all staying warm and somehow enjoying the weather. Right. Anyway, take care. Bye.